Boris Johnson slapped down a Labour MP's criticism over his handling of massive industrial action taken by GPs, teachers and railway workers. In a massive slapdown to Labour MP Kate Osborne for criticising the government's handling of strikes and the cost of living crisis, Boris Johnson lashed out, "If she wants to support the working people of this people, Mr. Speaker, can I suggest she gets off the picket line and has a word with her leader?" Mr. Speaker. Under acclamation from his party, Mr. Johnson continued, "We support the public of this country who will see a reduction in their cost of transport, which this government is delivering." The criticism levelled at the Prime Minister comes as other industries could soon join railway strikers in taking the streets over the cost of living crisis and poor working conditions. Previously, Ms. Osborne had taken direct aim at Boris Johnson for failing working people. She said, "Mr. Speaker, tens of thousands of people were marching through London last weekend protesting against his out-of-touch government. Rail workers are on strike, railway workers, NHS workers, teachers, and even barristers are on the verge of taking industrial action. All workers are struggling to cope with the worst cost of living crisis in history." Ministers are planning to boost city buses' pay whilst demanding pay restraint for everyone else. So, can the Prime Minister tell me, when is he going to stop meaningless sound bites and instead, start supporting working people around the country? The RMT union is holding fresh talks with rail bosses in a bid to break the railway paralysis that gripped the country on Tuesday and could grip it again on Thursday and Saturday. RMT boss Mick Lynch congratulated his rail workers for the fantastic turnout at picket lines that exceeded expectations. Other professions like teachers, NHS workers and barristers could soon follow suit and join rail workers in staging protests across the UK if they are not given a pay rise above inflation. Shadow Levelling Up Secretary Lisa Nandy urged Conservative ministers to listen seriously to workers' demands. She said, "It's not about whether workers go on strike, it's about the fact we have a government that's currently on strike and not doing its job. This is a government that in 2019 came to power on a promise to level up, and instead what they've presided over is absolute chaos." Chaos at the ports, chaos on the railways, chaos at airports, chaos everywhere you go. And that is because this is a government that is not doing its job. Both the Labour and the Tory party came under fire on Tuesday over their handling of the strike. Boris Johnson's Transportation Secretary Grant Shapps distanced the government from the talks, as he said the government would not intervene. And Labour leader Sir Keir Starmer's call on Labour MPs to stay off picket lines saw rebel Labour frontbenchers turn against him. Kate Osborne, Paula Barker and Navendra Mishra are among those who rebelled against Mr. Starmer's call. More than 15 backbench Labour MPs have also expressed their support for the unions. Keir Starmer's stance raises question as the Labour leader described himself as a proud trade unionist in a campaign video for the 2020 leadership contest. In another blow to Starmer's leadership, Labna deputy leader defended strikers in a tweet, saying, "No one takes strike action lightly. Workers have been left with no choice. I will always defend their absolute right to do so for fairness at work." The Labour leader had sent a memo calling on Labour MPs to show leadership and stay away from picket lines to avoid the resulting disruption to the public. Unions also lashed out at Keir Starmer for failing to defend their interests. The head of the Unite Union, Sharon Graham, hit out at Mr. Starmer, tweeting, "The Labour Party was founded by the trade unions and we expect Labour MPs to defend workers, by words and by actions." To instruct Labour MPs not to be on picket lines with workers speaks volumes. You don't lead by hiding. No one respects that. It's time to decide whose side you are on. Workers or bad bosses? Boris Johnson's government could face a summer of discontent, with teachers and NHS workers joining rail workers in protests across the UK.